You're listening to episode 123 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Genevieve White.
Waking up tired or getting headaches or getting that mid-afternoon crash or, just things that we think are normal are actually a result of this lifetime of toxic buildup.
Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hant, and welcome to Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we help you create an awesome life and lifestyle. From nutrition to fitness, mindfulness to peak performance, and relationships to money mindset, we bring you on an amazing journey to help you unleash your human potential. So here's a little bit about our guest today, Genevieve White. She's an environmental health coach and an advocate for personalized healthcare. She healed herself from years of chronic fatigue, digestive disorders, and generalized pain through extensive detoxification of both her body and her living environment. Now, her knowledge and expertise makes her a go-to resource for people experiencing chronic conditions like autoimmunity, hormone imbalances, and chemical sensitivities. In addition to individualized coaching, Genevieve writes for a variety of natural health websites, including well.org and Eat Without Apology. Hey everyone, welcome back to Lifestyle Locker Radio. We've got Genevieve in the house. We're going to be talking about your internal and external environments, what you need to do to keep them healthy. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. So I'm going to give everybody a little backstory here. So we actually recorded a little while back, and we had nothing but heck and hell with our technology, and the sound was off. So we're ready to rock and roll. We're like superstars now. We have landlines in. We're across the country here, and things are crystal clear, sounding and looking. So let's go dive in, Genevieve. Let's dive into your story. What made you become an environmental health coach?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to put it in a nutshell.
Yeah, the bridge version.
About early 2010. I suddenly got very sick. I was going through a detox diet because my family has a long history of some pretty scary diseases that seem to be connected to toxicity. So I thought, okay, I need to stay on top of this and detox a lot. So I was doing all these detox diets. At the same time, I was in an office where there was a remodel happening next door. And I was kind of getting the primary exposure because my desk was right by the front door. And then, so I had those two things going on. I was kind of pulling the toxins out of my body. At the same time, I had things coming in. So I wasn't able to really clear anything. And then after 2 years of being so sick, I couldn't even go into the office anymore, going to 16 different practitioners, trying all these different protocols, I finally learned that I have some genetic SNPs that make it so that I'm not able to detox properly. So I just had years of stuff that were kind of safely stored away in my body. I pulled it out during this detox protocol, and then I had the secondary stuff coming in at the same time, and it just became a huge mess.
Yeah, it sounds like a tornado of toxins in and out.
Yeah. So I had severe IBS. I had severe mood swings, very fatigued. Like I said, this went on for a couple years before I even started to learn the reasoning behind it and to start to heal myself. And it took a couple more years of detoxing till I could really get to where I was able to really function normally. And I just can't, during all this, I came to realize that there's a lot of people out there who have these kind of chronic illnesses that never get this information about the toxins and how they're affecting you. During this process, my son was diagnosed with 2 autoimmune conditions, and I was able to see, through the research for myself and the research I was doing for him, that really all chronic conditions are connected to environmental toxins. And a lot of times things that we just think is part of aging, or having busy lifestyles, like waking up tired or getting headaches or getting that mid-afternoon crash, or, just things that we think are normal are actually a result of this lifetime of toxic buildup.
Yeah, it's pretty wild if you think about it. If we were to go back in time, hundreds of years, before the Industrial Revolution, and I think living was very different. I mean, as far as environmental toxicity, yeah, I'm sure there's stuff in certain plants and certain things we probably shouldn't have in our body, but like being around all sorts of stuff, which I want you to actually get into, because it's interesting. You may be listening, like not you, Genevieve, you all the listeners, you may be standing or working or sitting in a bus or something that's you're surrounded by, I don't mean germs from other people, like that's fine. Your body's immune system is designed to fight those, but the chemicals that are coming off of certain things and around certain things. So can you kind of go over what are some of these things that are creating these environmental toxins, like maybe in a house or an apartment or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you're so right. There are over 84,000 chemicals currently listed for use in the marketplace.
Huh.
Obviously, it wasn't anything like that, 100 years ago.
Yeah, no kidding.
Only about 200 of those chemicals have actually been tested for safety. And
Really?
11 of them are banned or restricted. So, the truth is that we imagine, we assume that there's government agencies out there that are, doing all this research to protect us. Those chemicals wouldn't be in the marketplace unless they had been approved. And the truth is they just actually have very little power, and it's on us to actually do the research ourselves. So if you think about, let's think of being in a living room, as far as, where we might be listening to a podcast and what we might be surrounded by. So think of your couch. Your couch has the wood frame of the couch is most likely pressed wood rather than lumber. And in that pressed wood, you're going to have things like formaldehyde that are holding the wood together. You're going to have, in the sofa cushions, you're going to have fire retardants. On the fabric of your cushion, you're going to have stain-resistant chemicals. All of these things are endocrine disruptors, so they mess up our hormones. They screw with your blood sugar. They screw with your ability to get a good night's sleep. For women, they can be a source of what's the word I'm looking for when you have I can't think of the word, but it affects your hormones to the point that it can cause breast cancer. It can make your cycle worse. It's just it affects all areas of your body. And then of course a lot of these are connected to different cancers, behavior problems with children. They lower your IQ. That's just your couch, right? So if you look at your flooring, depending on your flooring, you can have 100 more chemicals, like in your carpeting. If you look at your cabinetry, just everything that your electronics have all sorts of chemicals in them. And they're in your dust, in your house. They're just resting in everything.
So I want to cut you off for a second. 84,000 that are registered. You said 11 that are banned
or restricted.
I want to say, and I wonder how much of those banned ones that are not necessarily restricted but banned are actually still used.
Well, a lot of the banned ones are still in the environment. Like if you think of DDT, a lot of people have heard of DDT, the pesticide that used to be widely used. That was banned decades ago, but it's still pervasive in the environment because it's not something that breaks down. So it's DDT. Babies are still being born with DDT in their bodies. And in fact,
that's crazy.
It is crazy. And in fact, they did some studies on the umbilical cords of newborn babies, and the average baby is born with something like 187 chemicals in their body in the US. Wow. And they don't test for all chemicals, right? They only tested for like a few hundred. So, there's
Yeah, that's crazy because I learned something from another guest about when you talk about like toxins. I think it's mercury and lead, heavy metals go through 3 generations before they're like not transmitted through to the next to the to the fourth generation, like lead and mercury.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of these chemicals are actually being inherited from our mothers in the womb, or
Yeah.
even from the sperm of our fathers. There's, when we talk about endocrine disruptors, that's another thing that happens when a mother is exposed to certain chemicals while their baby is in the womb, often as a result of things like personal care products, like her cosmetics or the lotions that she's putting on her body. Those actually affect the hormones of the baby in utero. So they're having studies that studies are showing that it can even change the gender of your baby,
Wow.
or end up in a situation where you have you have parts for both genders in a,
Okay.
or a situation where the ureter is coming out at the wrong point in the penis. Just all kinds of
Yeah.
defects as a result of these hormone disruptors.
That's crazy because if we think about it, with this many chemicals, and you mentioned DDT, and I think it's so funny they replaced it with something that's just as bad, right? Probably glyphosate, right?
Right.
Which is now another disruptor, which hopefully will be banned in our lifetime. Hopefully, that's tearing people apart as well. And these are known. And you mentioned the government and other agencies. It becomes, I guess, this comes down to money and like, listen, these are going to make things easier for us as a business, but may harm people down the road. And it's kind of scary that it's come to that, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of power in the chemical industry. There's a lot of money involved, and it's the way it's set up. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, basically, it's on the chemical industry to show that if their product is being questioned, it's up to them to show that it's safe. But they can hire whoever they want. They're not required to hire someone from a third party. And then if their product is found to be dangerous, there's no government body that has the ability to recall. They can sue, but they can't recall the product.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Okay.
for things like personal care products, there isn't even requirements as far as listing ingredients. They don't have to list all their ingredients in there. So you don't even necessarily know what's in your product.
That's wild,
Yeah.
right? And there probably aren't many things that you could put on or in your body that don't have or not required to have information of what's in them, right? I can't imagine that much. Like food, we think about most food,
Mhm.
like if it's genetically modified or if it's in a package, you have this laundry list of things you can't even read or know what they are, right? So,
Right.
right. So, and then you're saying personal care products that people are putting on their body like every single day of the week. I'm probably sure there's a huge percentage of men and women that do this, right? A large percentage.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't remember the exact number. I think it's 12. That the average woman puts 12 products on her body before she even leaves the house. I
Holy
mean,
cow.
think about, okay, you get up in the morning, you're brushing your teeth. So there's toothpaste is one, floss is another. There's chemicals on your floss. There's, what are you washing your hair with? What are you conditioning your hair with? What are you washing your body with? Your hands. What kind of moisturizers are you putting on your body? For women, it's like all different kinds of cosmetics. We all put goo in our hair. I mean, when you think about it, deodorants, that's so many products that we use just first thing in the morning, and
Yeah.
they're filled with chemicals.
Yeah. It's really, it's scary. So I know that we can talk on this topic right away. So for a long time. So we have the external toxins and so they affect our hormones. They affect our endocrine system, right? Which we spoke about. They affect What other parts of like, or where else are they seeing disruptors in people's health? I mean, not that
Well, I
that's not
mean, you mentioned
enough, but
glyphosate. So glyphosate, I mean, they're showing now that glyphosate can lead to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So there's a really specific example right there, but
wow.
there's lots of different cancers that have been connected to chemicals in the environment. We mentioned birth deformities,
Yeah.
behavioral issues, lower IQ, Alzheimer's is a big one. Um, I mean, on a smaller scale, there's things like asthma, allergies. I mean, we could just go
Okay.
through these: asthma, allergy, ADHD, Alzheimer's. Let's see
Yeah.
what else.
We'll go,
Acne. I mean,
we'll go through the alphabet here, right?
almost everything can be connected in some way
Wow.
to environmental toxins.
Okay. So now we know, I think we have an idea of that, that I'll be living in a teepee tomorrow made of like animal skin and chopped down trees in my backyard.
Right.
Now, all kidding aside. So all of us live in, a manufactured dwelling, right? A home, an apartment or something. So we're all surrounded by these. So are there some tactics that we can use to, well, just before we get to like the even products that we're putting on our body, but what we're surrounding our bodies with and the air we breathe, are there things we can use, or things we can do to win at this game a little bit or combat ourselves back?
Yeah, absolutely. So, bringing up air is a really good point. The air in your home can be up to 100 times worse than the air outside, even when you live in big cities, especially in these super energy efficient homes. I mean, energy efficiency is great, but you're basically inside a sealed box, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting any airflow through. So just opening the windows every day can make a really big difference, especially if you can open windows, at each end of the home to let the cross breeze kind of push out the stale air. Even in the cold days, unless it's well below freezing, just crack the windows for a little bit. Another big thing is leaving your shoes at the door. We're walking in, the neighbor's roundup. We're walking in, like the oil off of cars. We're walking in animal waste, whatever. And it's all coming into our house, especially if you have carpet. It's really hard to get that stuff out of your carpet once it's there. So just leave shoes at the door, have some nice comfy slippers that you have, for your guests, so that people aren't complaining about having to take off their shoes
Yeah.
when they come over. So there's two big things right there. You don't have to buy anything at all, and it'll make a big difference in
Yeah.
your home.
That's huge. I mean, I just think about this, the shoe thing is crazy, and a black top, all sorts of crap. It's
Yeah,
nuts. So,
yeah,
all right. So those are two things. The windows, I think, are huge, and that's something that we live by. Cracking the windows, and we have a 1-floor ranch here in New York, in the burbs, so we have a lot of fresh air that comes through. So it's fantastic. But as far as now, let's jump to on body. A couple of things that on or in our body. What are some things that, like you say, women, was it 12, 13 products?
yeah. I think
Right.
it's 12 products is the average.
Okay. So what if I want to, or a woman wants to minimize the amount of toxic load they're going to put on their body first thing in the morning? What are options? It's like, oh, I have lotion and makeup and all of this list.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I always recommend people do is to look for the ingredient fragrance, whether it's in your personal care products or whether in the cleaning products that you're using around your house. Look for the word fragrance in the ingredient, because the word fragrance is a trade secret. So that recipe right there can have over 100 chemicals in that one item.
Fragrance.
Fragrance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not only that, but fragrance, the recipe almost always includes phthalates, because phthalates, phthalates are used for a bunch of things, but one of the things that phthalates does is hold fragrance in the product, so that the smell lasts longer. And the thing about phthalates is it's an endocrine disruptor.
Mm.
It's potentially a carcinogen. All those things that we've been talking about, phthalates is way up there on the list. It's also what's considered an obesogen. So if you're someone who gains weight easily or has a hard time losing weight, getting the phthalates out of your life is going to be really helpful. And one of the things about phthalates is it has a really short half-life. So if you can clear all the phthalates out of your house, you can reduce the amount that's carried in your body within like a day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's really impactful.
Okay.
So look for phthalates. EWG, the Environmental Working Group, has a great database called Skin Deep. So if you go to ewg.org and search for Skin Deep, you can put the name of your product in there and it will tell you how it rates. Or you can, let's say you want like a safe mascara. You can put mascara and it will tell you the highest rating so that you can go out and buy those things. It also has, they also have an app. So when you're at the store, you can just scan the item and see how it rates.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's an incredible tool.
That's really great. I'm thinking fragrance. I stopped wearing cologne a while back now. And I imagine that's probably got to be, or for women, a perfume, right? That's got to probably be one of the worst as far as phthalates go for fragrance. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, fragrance. Yeah. For sure. Perfume is a huge deal. Things like the plugins in your house and the sprays and the trees you hang in your car, all of that stuff is some of the worst things that you can be using for as far as air quality is concerned.
Okay. So let's say I'm a person and I like my house to smell nice. What would I use?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of my favorite things to do, depending on the time of year, especially around the holidays, for example, I'll take, there's always those little mandarin oranges that you get around the holidays. I'll put the peels and like a cinnamon stick, maybe a clove on the stove, and then just let that simmer for a while, and it just fills the air with a really nice, yummy holiday smell. So you can do things like that. You can kind of play with herbs and spices and rinds and whatnot.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. If you're into essential oils, you could do like a diffuser, or you can put some baking soda in a jar and put a few sprinkles of essential oil in that and just set it on your counter.
Really? Baking soda and essential oils?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't heard that one. That's great.
Yeah. There's all kinds of little things you can do. For me, the biggest thing is just staying on top of any potential odor, so taking out your trash every day, opening the windows every day, keeping your pets clean and your pets' bed clean, so that you're just less likely to have offensive odors in your house and there's less of a need to mask them. I understand nice smells are nice, but if you're feeling like you need an added smell in your house, investigate why that is.
Fair enough. My house is filled with like essential oil, so I'm just used to smelling something.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting you say that. If you feel you need to, there might be an underlying issue somewhere.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Let's see where else do I want to go here, but this is interesting. So we've got in the house, I'm trying to think, is there any other places we can hit environmental toxins? There are other ways that we get them besides, being, in an apartment or a house or a car or anything, or do other things, and foods, I guess, would those be considered an environmental toxin?
Yeah, I would say so. The biggest ways that we're exposed to toxins, or that we increase our body burden, is by inhaling them,
okay,
ingesting them, or putting them on our skin. People don't think, they think, how could putting something on my skin actually put it in my bloodstream? But then if you think about things like a nicotine patch, or those patches that they use for hormones, obviously that stuff goes into your body.
Fast delivery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But as far as food goes, pesticides are a huge one. And that's another area where your body can clear can clear the toxin really fast. So we talked about the life of phthalates. For pesticides, it's just a few days. So they've done studies where they put people on an organic diet or a mostly organic diet for just a few days, and depending on the study, between 5 and 7 days, you get a reduction of roughly 70 to 90% of the of what you're carrying in your body. Your pesticide load reduces by 70 to 90%
that's huge.
In just a few days.
Yeah,
so that's really significant. We talked about EWG. Dirty Dozen is a great resource that EWG puts out. So the Dirty Dozen is the produce, the 12 produce items with the heaviest pesticide load. So those are the things that you either want to avoid or buy conventionally. And then they have the Clean 15, which are foods that, if you can't find them organic or you can't afford to buy them organic, it's okay. You don't need to. You can get them conventionally, and it's not going to have a big effect on you.
Very cool. I love these resources. I think our audience is going to absolutely love these. And I can't believe they have an app, which is great. Do you know if the app works with food also? Or is that just
No, okay. They do have an app that just specifically has the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So when you're shopping, you can pull that up on your phone.
Okay.
Which is pretty helpful. I mean, I think that it's also really important to look for organic animal products. When you're shopping, like grass-fed meat gets a lot of lip service right now, but it's really true. It's so much better for your body.
Yeah.
If you don't have the GMO grains that they're being fed, you don't have the added hormones, which obviously take a toll on your body, the antibiotics, all of that junk, So, I mean, I think that eating organic animal products is probably as important as eating organic produce.
Oh, I agree. And who wants to, keep funding the machine that keeps doing that to the animals? If we're going to eat it, that means they're getting it.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, right? We just think of the other end.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is great. So give us like some of the best places people can find you online. But you have a boatload of info.
So you can find me at environmentalhealthcoach.com. You can find me on Facebook at Environmental Health Coach. I'm going to be starting a Facebook group soon, which you'll be able to link to from my business page, where it'll be a place where people can just go and support each other around trying to make their homes a healthier place. Asking questions, sharing great products that you found, things like that. Just a place to support each other.
That's great. And one last thing, I want to let everybody know, you know where to find her on our site too. Come on, don't you want to know that, people? So it's going to be lifestylelocker.com, Genevieve White. So it's / Genevieve White. And we're going to have all the details there, her website, her Facebook group. And we know she's putting out and sharing some pretty amazing things. If you heard, she's going to probably do a study now on all 84,000. I'm just kidding, right? 84,000, I'm just kidding. But she's got some great stuff. She's a genius in this world. And I don't think there are many people that are sharing the information she's sharing. So make sure you definitely get over her sites and give her a like, give her a thumbs up, share her content, because we need healthier homes, right? And healthier air to breathe and all the above. So Genevieve, I want to thank you. This was pretty awesome.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for just having this great resource for people to go to and get all kinds of fantastic information.
Yeah. Well, I love to share people like yourself with the world, because we need more people like you that are doing good things, so I can share more of them. So I appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you.
Hello again, and thank you so much for listening to another great episode of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Genevieve White. This one was awesome. I hope you learned a little bit about your internal and your external environments and how they can have an influence on your health and well-being and longevity. So make sure you head over to lifestylelocker.com / Genevieve White to get all of those details. And if you're using a device to listen to this, you can go ahead and scroll down into the show notes and get all of those details there as well. And I want to urge you, if you have not done so yet, please head over to iTunes. We love our 5-star reviews. So if you have not done so yet, please leave us one, write us a nice little note in there. And if you take a screenshot of that and share with us on facebook.com/lifestyle locker, we'd love to see it. So thanks again. Have a great day, evening, and night. See you on the next episode. Bye-bye.